Good, man. So Isaiah, we'll start things off here. Last year being bold was kind of a theme for you guys as far as going into camp in the offseason. What's been the theme or mantra you guys have adopted this year in 2020?
Oh man, there's a few, I think. The saying on the back of our workout uniforms right now is just it says "Be the change." That maybe could be one, and then I think Coach Hadley and Coach Guilford alluded to it today on their bike ride. About being perfect. That's just another, I think, mantra or saying, and each coach has different mantras and sayings for their position groups, but. As a team, I think we're just trying to get, be perfect, be as perfect as we can, and then be the change. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, social issues and just different things. We're just have been bombarded with so many different things. And I think, that saying, be the change, is kind of caught on, in the nation at least. And so, we have a platform and we have a voice and we have the right to be, listened to, and we have the right to listen. Just really proud of our guys and the diversity on our team is just incredible. And so, I wish that the nation was more like a locker room. There's guys from different areas, different backgrounds. We all grew up different. We have different views, but we come together as a team. We learn how to understand each other, how to listen to each other. And that's really, being the change is learning how to listen and learning how to communicate.
So along those same lines with being the change, what are you and maybe other members of the Leadership Council doing to give players in the program a voice and a platform to stand up for societal issues that matter to them?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a team meeting, yesterday, and it was a players-only meeting. We just kind of had an open floor. Guys could talk about whatever they wanted, and no judgments, whatsoever. And so I think the team, and this goes back, as far as I've been here, is we've always had player meetings, and we have a culture of love and a culture of learning. We're willing to love each other. We're willing to learn about each other and kind of what their needs are, what people, how people think. And so I think that's just been the biggest thing is we've just had team meetings. Guys feel comfortable about being open. Isaiah Heron was going to transfer to an HBCU, and guys were very supportive of that, and he decided to come back because he felt like he could, create some change here and really be a voice here on our team. And so it's been really exciting to really get together as guys, a group of guys, to humble ourselves, to just be able to listen to each other.
Thanks, Isaiah.
Hey,
Go ahead,
Isaiah.
Dana, and then Jake after Dana.
Isaiah, I guess, excuse me, it's been some time since you've realized that if there is a season, it's probably going to be without fans or very limited fans. I'm curious, how strange do you think that's going to be? Not being able to feed off the energy, whether it's the opposing crowd or your home crowd.
Yeah, that definitely is going to be different, if teams decide to limit fans or, have no fans. But I mean, we've already been through very, very different things. I think by now we're able to adapt, we got our spring ball cut short. We were able to adapt to that. We found ways to get better. We have to wear masks, during practices, and we've just found a way to adapt and get better. And so, playing without fans, I'm sure it's going to be really weird. And that's one of my favorite things about being a college football player is, being able to control the crowd, pump the crowd up, get the crowd going. I'm going to miss that if they decide to have no fans or limit the fans. But, we just adapt and we come back.
Okay, go ahead, Jake, and then Jared after that.
Isaiah, I wanted to ask you, you've played in multiple different defenses here at BYU, different iterations of it. Is this year's defense in terms of form or how you guys are going about things any different than last year or previous seasons? Yeah,
I'm sure Kalani alluded to our depth. At every position on the field, we have guys who could start. And so, it's, and we have 2 or 3 guys actually who could start at those positions. And so we're just trying to get the best 11 on the field and trying to just find a defense that is unique to us and kind of a niche for us and get guys who are playmakers onto the field. And so, doing different things. We're continuing, just looking at our 4-2. We have our 3-4 and just kind of different things, that we've been kind of working with. And Kalani's kind of got a vision and he knows really, the strengths of his players. And so he's just, putting guys at different positions, getting guys on the field. And so we're just trying different things and really just trying to get really good at those different schemes.
You're, of course, a senior on this year's team. For you, how different has this offseason been to all the years you've played football to this point?
Yeah, it's been very unique. Very unique in the sense that a lot of improvement has had to come from yourself. You can't just show up and say, okay, I've got a coach who's ready to help me out in the weight room. I've got a coach who's ready to, watch some film with me and help me get better. So a lot of it was kind of self-drive. The off season was very unique, and Kalani did a phenomenal job at maximizing, I think, our time together. He gave us a list of things that, he thought we could improve on, kind of let us just do our thing. It really was impressed with how our guys responded to the trials and kind of the hurdles that we faced. Guys got better, and we've seen that today. The off season, I think, was unique, and it was probably difficult, but it wasn't much of a hurdle for our guys.
Go ahead, Jared, and then Matt.
Hey, Isaiah, good to see you.
Good to see you, Jared.
This is such a unique time in so many ways, and you guys have dealt with things on a variety of levels, from school getting shut down and, camp getting shut down and all of those things. Coach mentioned today that there were some of those first day scuffles, and maybe guys are getting, after all of this stuff, it was great to get out and actually be able to, do a little hitting and pushing and shoving and let go of some of that frustration. My question is how do you assess the psychological, where the team is at psychologically? Because there's a lot of psychological pressures from a variety of areas going on right now. So where is the team at in that regard?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let me think about that for a sec, and I'll get back to you. That is really, it's tough psychologically, right? Because, we're showing up right now. We have to wear these masks, and we have to kind of do things, people, there are these certain protocols and procedures, and then we have to go out and practice and run around, and we're breathing in these masks, and it can be tough. And we have, I think our staff has done a really good job at really providing us with the resources that we need to, we can talk about our mental health. We can talk to people. There are people, who are there for us to communicate. We just have learned how to communicate. We got people to listen to us. And so just kind of, gauging the psychological aspects, of our team. I think guys, we're Division I athletes. We know how to carry ourselves. We know that we've been through harder things, I'm sure. And so we're kind of made for this, but they're also, I think our staff and our coaches have done a good job at just providing us with resources to help us, whether that's mentally, physically, psychologically. There's just so many different, outlets and avenues and resources for us.
The other thing, I asked Matt this, and I want to get your thought as well, with the virus, with, like you mentioned earlier, the social issues that are being addressed in a different way, and all of these other elements going on with the season being in the air. Has your perspective about football changed? Do you view it differently this year than maybe you have in the past?
That's a great question. And me personally, I've always been realistic. I grew up in a family who football is everything. It's a way to pay for school. It's a way to provide for your family. And so, but it comes to an end, and so for me, I think football, I've always had the perspective that football is an avenue to get school paid for, to maybe provide, for my family and help set me up. But I know that football will end one day, and that I will continue to be a husband and a father and a son and a brother. And so, I've always just appreciated that fact about football. And yeah, it's a little different. You know, football could get cut short this year, or just so many limitations and different things, moving parts. But I think that, I've showed up to camp today just ready to play football. And so that's kind of been my mentality.
Thanks, Isaiah.
Let's go Matt, then Andrea.
In the spring, there was some linebackers from last year, Isaiah, who were experimenting at different positions, a few at running back. Who's in the linebacker room in the first day of fall camp?
Yeah, so we had myself and Peyton and Keenan. We were all there, and Pepe, kind of the linebackers that were there in the spring. Max Tooley has now come back to linebacker. He's playing more of an interior, and they moved my brother back from running back to linebacker. And so, and I think that's just, we're just trying to find the best 11 on offense and defense. And so just moving guys around, and I'm sure it'll change. That's how football has been for the last 4 years for me. It's guys move around, guys move positions. 2 years ago we had Matt Hadley playing running back, came back to linebacker a few games, and then went back to running back and helped the team out there. And so I think the coaches do a good job at really knowing, where guys really fit in kind of the best spots. And so I'm sure, depth charts will change and positions will change, but it's really just to get the best 11 on the field.
Thank you.
Hey, Isaiah. How's it going?
Hi, Andrea.
So all this uncertainty, and even Kalani talked about the team's efforts, and you've even touched upon the fact that, everybody put in the time when, you weren't together as a team. But if there's something that you could pinpoint through all of this, is there something that you can say, I'm most confident in this about my team as a player?
Yeah, I think it's our unity. It's kind of crazy, and it's because we weren't really together at all. And when we were, it was in groups of 10 and then 20 and then 30. But I think through that, throughout the quarantine phase, and then throughout the summer phase where, I didn't really see any of the offensive guys because we were lifting at different times. But I think that the leadership, which has started with our head coach and then kind of trickled down to some of the older guys and the seniors and the veteran guys, I think our culture has just thrived. And so I think that's going to be the biggest maybe asset or factor in us, really being a great football team, is because we're just united. And so really excited about our leadership, really excited about just, our whole team and the unity that we have.
Okay, I think that's it. Thanks, Isaiah. Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate you all.
Thanks, Isaiah.
Brett Pine will send out an email about the next availability. I don't want to speculate on when that'll be, so just wait for that email from Brett.